What's up, guys? I'm Kino Say, and I'm back. It's been a while for an AR offense video. It's day 7, the final day, and I forget which week it is because it's been so long. But here we are. I haven't really encountered anything noteworthy, to be honest, the entirety of this week. But I suppose this team is somewhat interesting in the fact that they're running a Bramamond on their defense setup, despite the fact that it's not dark season right now. But because this Bramamond's here, I thought it might prove to be a bit of a rare matchup between my Galeforce setup, because I rarely get to use, I suppose, my Galeforce on teams like this, I suppose you could say. Something interesting to note would be how my Galeforcers interact with someone like, say, this Bike, because Bike is a fairly good tank, and I mean, I've demonstrated it during my mock battles with Ashkai, in which, like, my Kagura could soften him up, and my Galeforcers should be able to seal the deal, especially since my Bolt Tower is lined up exactly where this entire team is set up. So Leaf's positioning is a little questionable, but I suppose Veronica and Leaf could have been switched and it wouldn't have mattered because my Tactics Room is actually lined up straight where they are. However, Eliwood does cover a lot of ground, so that is definitely something to keep an eye out for. However, this person was nice enough to provide me with their lightning traps. Granted, since this team doesn't have a Duma setup, I am gambling a bit here on the fact that these traps are at least 20 damage. But basically, the gameplay here is to test these traps and then test this gravity trap so that I can get it out of the way for my execution, which is to snipe the Eliwood with my Kagero, regardless of Bolt Tower turn. Bolt Tower doesn't actually matter here. And then, ideally I would have liked to destroy this Panic Manor and, like, attacked Brahmin with Kagero, and then had Altina warp over here as another Wings of Mercy beacon, but in this scenario where I find myself hard-pressed to do so because there's a Tactics Room shutting down my Kagero, and the amount of range that Eliwood covers, I wouldn't be able to retreat easily enough. So, game plan is to snipe Eliwood with Kagero, then smite Kagero up with Altina, so that Kagero can actually serve as a Wings of Mercy beacon for both of my Galeforcers. And in doing so, I should be able to take out the 4 units in the middle, leaving just the Dancer alone. And at that point, I could sort of just trap in the Dancer and take my time snagging the pots before clearing the map. So this didn't seem to be too difficult of a map to sort of figure out, but we'll see if my luck with traps has run out, or if it's starting to work against me. But anyway, to test this first trap here, I'm gonna have to, I think, repo Kagero onto this, and then draw back the Altina that repoed her, or smite her out of the way. I think smiting might be better, because I'm not certain I'll need the repo Altina at any other point later in the map, aside from this. So, first turn I can simply repo, Kagero has her movement afterwards, so the smite Altina can push the repo Altina out of the way, and she'll likely end up here, so what I'd probably want to do is actually move my Kagero onto this tile after she's been repoed, and then have Valoria come in to swap Kagero onto the tile the following turn so that the Smite Altina can push her up to test this trap. Okay. If I want to consider turn efficiency, I'd like to test this trap at the same time, but is that possible? It should be, actually, because if Kagero still has her action after being smited, so if she moves here, what I could do is I could repo or drawback, and then use the other assist skill to move the other unit out of the way, being Fjorm and Altina here. So I should be able to test all of those out by turn 2. If gravity is affecting me at that point, then I believe all I should need to do is take another turn to set up, and everything should be good. Let's see, so it looks like a no-brainer where Valoria should be the one attacking Bramman to trigger Galeforce, so then my Fjorm should be attacking the Veronica to trigger Galeforce. So one thing to note is that I am running Fjorm as my bonus unit this week, because she is on rotation in the same slot as the Askr Trio, and so I usually only run her when it's concurrently water season during Astra season, when she's a bonus unit. But since it is her bonus unit now, bonus week now, I can run her, and on weeks where it isn't, I guess I usually just opt out of using my Galeforce. I'd probably just stick to tanking strategies, but anyway, enough rambling. I'll just go ahead and get right into it. So first thing is to repo. Okay, so that was the real trap, and it was a 40. So we're just going to go ahead and get out of the way, and I suppose breaking that would be fine. And I'd like to test the gravity trap next, but who should be the one to do it? I mean, to be honest, I suppose Kagero, since she already has escape route on deck. So this looks like it's going to be a fairly quick clear. The catapult, really? Catapult destroyed my my bonus structure, the Dark Shrine, and it's a level 2. I don't know what that level 2 catapult's doing there, to be honest. But okay. Okay, just gonna go ahead and push up. That's the fake trap. So from here, I'm gonna take another turn to set up. I'll give everybody their attack buffs. Okay. And optimally enough, I actually aligned it so that I could make my move the same turn as my Bolt Tower, so we're gonna go for the big damage here. Hold on. I want to actually turn on combat animations, because, you know, just for viewing pleasure, I suppose. Alright, so there's the nuke. Okay. Well, I suppose I could actually just have Altina serve as a Wings of Mercy beacon as well, so should go ahead and do that. So, just double checking. Bramman should get +5 speed. And that's it. Nothing else should be debuffing me. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take out the Fjorm first. I mean, Veronica with Fjorm first. Alright, there goes my Heavy Blade. Then comes Veronica with her Flashing Blade. Interesting transformation sequence. Alright, and from this point, as long as I hole in these two slots, or tiles, Azura shouldn't be able to do anything major, so interesting. I guess we're going to have Fjorm do the honors. What is color advantage anyway, huh? And we'll take out Leaf. And there we go. So, wow, okay, those are actually doubled. Didn't really pay attention to what she had, to be honest, but this was probably one of my quickest Galeforce clears, to be sure. From here, I suppose Fjorm can get the kill if I break this. No, I mean, Valoria is not a Wings of Mercy beacon, so what can I do here? I suppose if I use Kagura to snag this, and then Valoria takes Azura out, I could get Fjorm or Altina to snag that one. Okay, so go ahead and get that. Get that, and there we go. Alright, so that was my actually second match of day 7. The first match was kind of boring. It was a regular old Cav line, so I just threw my Sophia and Faye at them. And yeah, unfortunately this week I won't be reaching tier 27 because I did lose a bit too many points on defense. Partially due to the fact that I kind of forgot one day that I set up my my meme team for Indulger to mock battle, only to remember that Indulger wasn't doing mock battles this week, nor any AR content this week for that matter. So I think I'm like, oh, well, okay. There goes the ally support, I guess. I don't usually grind the ally support between my Fjorm or my Valoria and the rotation bonus unit. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, I was basically saying that I think I'm like 40 or 60 points short. So if the next match is somewhat entertaining, I'll throw that one in as a bonus as well. So until then, I guess we'll see each other next time. To be continued. Alright, and we are back. So we are up against a Japanese player who goes by the name of Nyoken, which I suppose could mean smelly fist. I don't know, I'm sort of grasping at straws here, but what you see in front of you is my legendary wind team, which I've brought out for wind season, and unfortunately I won't be able to showcase it, but I'll just go ahead and sort of show off the builds real quick, just because. So Legendary Lynn's running a close counter guard bow pulse smoke set, and I suppose I use her as like a pulse diffuser, but aside from like one match where there was like a inadequately constructed Infantry Pulse team, I would say, there weren't really many chances for me to use and show her off, unfortunately. Granted, I could have recorded that match, I suppose, but it really wasn't all that interesting, to be honest. But the neat little thing about this team is Kempf, who's the bonus unit this week, can actually reach the same amount of attack as Lynn, taking into consideration bonus stats and attack bonuses from Altina's buffs. So it does require him to run a Fortress Res Seal as well, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is. And magically enough, Naga also comes with 50 attack. Lynn will reach 50 attack with Altina's buffs, And although it's cheating a little bit, I decided to give my Altina attack res too, so she can also be eligible for Eliwood's Ardent Durandal and Vision of Arcadia buffs. It works out decently well, given that Naga's the dragon unit providing Eliwood with the Vision of Arcadia eligibility, so to speak. So yeah, that's my bonus doubler Pulse Smoke team, I suppose. I haven't really finalized a build that I'd like for Lyn to use in Astra, or Aether Raids rather, just yet. But this time around, we're going to be going with our Galeforce setup again. And the reason being that the traps are, easily testable enough, and there is actually a Duma, so it doesn't require a gamble on numbers. And so one thing I do want to be careful of is that the Cecilia does run armored boots, but the lightning traps are placed in a position where I could actually test both of them on the same turn. So should I do that, Cecilia, regardless of which one is the real trap, will lose HP and lose her armored boots for the duration of the following enemy phase. So as long as I retreat to the currently visible range, outside of it rather, then I'm good. So I think what I'm going to have to do is actually take 2 turns to set that up, I think. This one's easily smited onto, so I can sort of just keep my Smite, Altina, and Kagero here. As for these two, I think what I want to do is have probably Fjorm or the Repo Altina, I guess. It doesn't really matter. And then Valoria swap them up onto this tile. And have the other unit sort of just... Oh, wait, no, hold on. So I guess I actually do want this unit over here to be Fjorm, so that after swapping with Valoria, Altina will move up to repo Fjorm onto this tile, then Fjorm can move back and draw back. If it was the other way around, Fjorm would have to draw back onto the lightning trap, and in order to get Fjorm out, it would require Altina staying on this tile to repo Fjorm back, and that's a no bueno. So, because Cecilia still technically does cover this range over here, this dining hall. But one little dilemma here is how I'm supposed to break these two by turn 2, rather, if I'm taking into account turn efficiency. Without endangering my units, I suppose you could say. Take an extra turn to do so, unfortunately, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Something to note is that, interestingly enough, they don't have any Bright Shrine set up, and they also don't have Chill Attack, so that means I should be dealing substantial amounts of damage with Kagero. But given that Azura is running Attack Tactic, it may be harder for Fjorm to trigger Heavy Blade. And the way this team is set up, I think Kagero's target is actually going to be Leaf. At a glance, honestly, if Kagero just gets Hone Attack buffs, she should be able to one-shot this Leaf, no problem. Valoria has her pick of units, aside from maybe Azura. No, well, I mean, Valoria does have the highest visible speed, so she actually would lose out to Azura in terms of speed, I believe. Vrayson does carry drive speed, but it doesn't really affect anybody substantial, so Valoria can basically pick anybody else in the front besides Azura. For Fjorm, Fjorm, if she doesn't get debuffed, I believe she has 62 attack base. With Hone Attack, that's 66. Attack Defense Bond, 71. So Bike will be at 65. Cecilia will be at... Well, Cecilia doesn't receive it. So it's likely going to be one of these two. I mean, with color disadvantage, Fjorm probably wants to go for Cecilia, and Valoria goes for Ike. Though, I suppose something to note is that I could still use the Wings of Mercy Altina as another Wings of Mercy beacon, but depending on how much damage these traps do, I'd probably want to keep Altina outside of Azura's range, especially since this Azura has Triangle Adept. Duma shouldn't be too much of a problem either. Damn, that Racin's actually really fast. What the hell? 52 speed. I never actually noticed until now. Okay. That's a little iffy. So Kagero should have 67 attack after Hone Attack buffs. 67 minus 32, 35, and then he takes 14 splash damage from Savage Blow. So that's 49. And he'll be debuffed. Okay, so I can one-shot him safely. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Now, if Kagero attacks from here, if I don't get Altina into the mix, because this tile, I don't really want to gamble traps if possible. I'd want to stay clear of this tile, but if I put Altina here to serve as a Wings of Mercy beacon, then she's in danger of being attacked by this Azura. Granted, I don't need the pots, so I suppose I could just go for a full sweep. Because getting the pots, like, before actually sweeping is a bit of an arduous task, since the Tactics Room will shut down my Kagero. So I think this time I'm actually just going to ignore the pots. I'm not going to flex, and I'm just going to go straight into it. So yeah. Okay. So Kagero and the Smite Altina on this side. And on this side, getting this dining hall broken is actually the more challenging task here, I would say. If I break that with Fjorm and repo her back, she ends up on this tile. Same if I just break it with Altina and draw back with Fjorm, because Valoria's swap isn't really going to help me there. So I suppose it doesn't really matter. By turn 2, I could have Altina repo Fjorm back up, and Fjorm could move to break the concert hall, and Valoria could move behind Fjorm, so that on turn 3, I could test the traps, and it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. That's a weirdly placed catapult, and it's just strong enough to destroy my bolt tower. I mean, I'm not really one to speak, but like, I mean, the entire reason I decided to move my bolt tower to lane 5 is because of like Dumas and catapults usually being lanes 3 and 4. But really, Catapult in lane 5. Alright, I'll give it to you, I guess. Okay, weird bolt tower. Alright, so, yeah. So I'll test the traps on turn 3. I'll probably take an extra turn to set up on turn 4 and then execute on turn 5. I mean, if I want an attack from here, I'd have to clear this out too. So I may not have the perfect positioning for my units, but if I make my move turn 5, everything should work out. I could take an extra turn after that to sort of just rearrange units, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So we'll go ahead and get that. Okay. So there goes the catapult. I'm going to go ahead and repo Fjorm, break the concert hall, and get Valoria into position. Okay, just double checking to make sure there's no armored march or anything. So, after these two traps are tested, whichever one's the real one, Cecilia should get knocked out of full HP for armored boots, so her actual range should be this. Okay, so now does it matter if my Galeforcers are in Wings of Mercy range themselves? If I go for the full sweep, let's say, Kagero attacks, then I have Altina attack Ike, but I don't know if that's such a good idea. How would I get Altina in the mix? So, if I did that, I mean, Altina could be a Wings of Mercy beacon, but it depends on this one being the trap. I'm not so certain about that. And if she occupies this tile, then that means one of my Galeforcers might have to occupy this tile. So I guess I'm just going to have to play it out based on which one is the real trap and which of my units get damaged, and sort of go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and smite up and test. So that was the real trap, and that was a 50. Interesting. So, given that I know that, I don't actually need to test this one, and I guess I can speed things up a little bit. So Altina can serve as a Wings of Mercy beacon now. If I do that, then I suppose what would happen is Altina would probably take out the Ike, and then I'd have to trigger Galeforce off of Duma and Zura, but the thing is, if I try to take out the Racing, then that means Cecilia is going to be left alive, because I can't occupy any other tile over there. So that's a little troubling, for sure. I suppose Altina could go last. I could just trigger Galeforce off of Cecilia and leave so I can clear out these two tiles first. One person would move up to take out the Azura, another person would move over to the left. Wait, hold on. I mean, no, Leaf is gone at that point, so one person takes out Cecilia, and then they move over to take out the Duma. Then Altina comes along to take out the Ike. And then the other person teleports above Altina and leaves current tile to take out Azura and the Racin. Is that right? I think. So so it looks like Fjorm's gonna have to trigger Galeforce off of Azura then. If I go out of this in a different order, would it matter? So Altina takes out Ike. Then somebody warps to take out Azura and take out Duma. But then that unit isn't guaranteed to be a Wings of Mercy beacon. In fact, they aren't. So what I should actually do is have one Galeforcer take out Cecilia first, then move out of the way, and then take out Duma. And then have Altina come in. Okay. Alright, so I got that. Yeah, I'll get this obstacle out of the way. Cecilia shouldn't have her range anymore, so I think it should be safe for me to just leave Kagro there. Just to, test my, know-how of mechanics, I suppose. I could just leave Kagro there and not do anything else, really. Because Kagro is within range of Leaf, so... ooh, Racin does have Wings of Mercy. Does that matter, though? There's a Rally. Nobody else is in attack range, though. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay. Okay, so that cleared up her attack range, which is good. Alright, so Kagro can take out Leaf, no problem. And one more time just to be sure. So Kagro takes out Leaf. A Galeforcer, most likely Valoria, because she can't trigger Galeforce off of Azura. I suppose she could do it off of Duma, but the other Galeforcer needs to take out Duma, so... sorry about that interruption. Anyway, so Valoria takes out Cecilia, moves over to take out Duma. Altina takes out Ike. Then Fjorm teleports next to, or above Altina to take out Azura, and then take out the Racin. Despite color disadvantage, Fjorm has a hefty amount of attack, and at that point, Racin should have just 3 HP left, I believe, with 27 defense, or 25 defense, sorry. So, yeah, okay, so that should work out. So we're just going to go ahead and sweep, because I don't need the pots. One down. Alright, so Valoria goes first. She's got 41 speed. You've got 35 speed, nothing else. Alright. That's 2. And then 3. Ooh, I kind of just remembered. Did I forget to go over the teams? I mean, the team setups? Well, I suppose long story short was that Cecilia was at +10 and that Racin is at +10, if I forgot to go over it. Anyway, so Altina's going to go ahead and take out Ike. Okay. Triggered Galeforce off of Azura with Heavy Blade. And we'll go ahead and finish off Racin. Alright, and that was it for today's matches. Sorry if I rambled on for a bit too long. I tend to be very cautious when it comes to AR offense. Let's just put it that way. And as you can tell by my rank, just because of my score, I am doing this fairly early in the day, and by the number of hours left in the season. But anyway, uh, as I mentioned earlier, I am short of tier 27 this week, unfortunately. Screwed up a bit on defense, forgot to switch back to my main defense. I'm not sure if that would have mattered, but, I'd like to believe it would have. And, yeah, that was one of the more entertaining matches for this week, for sure. And if there are, well, I mean, I will be seeing you guys next week, and hopefully I will be able to post AR videos sooner in the week. If, I encounter any interesting ones anyway. And with that being said, I will see you guys next week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.